And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
There are games with fun themes, and then there is Strasbourg, which is about the age of guilds. I did want to get this game. I managed to get a copy of it, mostly, not because of the theme, because once again we see a couple, well, I would say that this guy's not quite so dour. He looks a little happy, and maybe that's because he has a very cheerful-looking wife in the background, I don't know. But in this game, it's simply it's a pseudo-auction game, where you're putting down cards and then flipping them over to show how much you're going to bid each round. But there's putting tiles down on the board. It's all about getting a bunch of points. But it does so in a very, very good, simplistic way. Let's take a look at it. Here's the board for Strasbourg, and you're going to keep some tokens up here in the corner, and there's a victory point track around the outside. Now, right here in the middle are a bunch of tiles that can be shuffled up, and these show the 5 phases of the game, or the 5 rounds of the game. Each round is made up of several phases, and they can be in different orders, and let's take a closer look at them. See, what we'll do is, let's say it's the 5th round of the game, we will take one of these markers and move it down here and go through that round. Now, how does a round work? This is a game in which players are going to be getting a whole lot of points in various ways. In fact, at the beginning of the game, you're going to get 5 of these cards, and each card will tell you different ways to get points at the end of the game. Now, you have to decide whether you're going to keep the cards or not, because if you don't keep them, you'll lose points, like Ticket to Ride. But if you do get them, you'll get points. So if you, for example, if you're the starting player, you get 2 points at the end of the game. You get 12 points if you have buildings, if you have people on different color buildings. And each one means something different. And there's a sheet that comes with the game that tells you what each one does. So you can look at that. So for example, here, if you're starting player, you get 2 points. If they have 3 goods, you get 4 points. So players will start off that way. And what players also will be doing is they have a deck of cards. This is a deck of 24 cards. And on the backs of these cards are numbers 1 through 6, and they're going to be shuffling this. And at the beginning of each round, players will draw a card, and they can keep drawing cards until they decide that they're going to stop. They only have these cards for the whole game, so you have about an average about 5 cards per round. But you can take more, you can take less. Once you pick the cards, you're going to put them in front of you in stacks, face down. Now you can look at these stacks, but once you put them down, they're kind of stuck in these stacks. Then, for each auction, what you'll do on your turn is, if you want to be a participant in that auction, you simply turn over a stack. And if someone else, if you have 2 cards in a stack, they add together. This is a 5, rather than just a 4. And whoever has the highest number wins the auction. The second highest gets second place, third highest gets third place. And if there's ever a tie, whoever has the start player token breaks the tie, or whoever's closest to the start player token. If you don't have anything to bid with, then you can't participate in that auction. Now, the first auction allows you, the winner gets to place someone take the nobility spot, and second place gets the clergy spot, and third place gets nothing. And you get to put your people in those spots. And then all the rest of these auctions, you can see there's the pretzel and the barrel and the shoe. Each of those has an auction, and first place gets to put their guy up in one of these spots. They're the guild master of that particular guild. All first and second place can pay to put, for example, you can pay $5 to put one of your guys here, or you can pay $1 to put one of your guy here, depending on the right color. So if it was a yellow auction, then you could put it on any of the yellow ones. You could put it on this one for 1 or this one for 0. And then third place can do that also. However, first and second place are also going to get a good of the type of auction. So let's say that it was a blue one, you would take one of these goods if you were first. So first place gets the guildmaster, the good, and can place a guy. Second place can place a guy and gets the good. Third place can place a guy or get the good, your choice. If you don't have the money to place a guy, you can't. And money will be fairly tight in this game. Other auctions that are on here, you'll see with the bags that are here, whoever wins those auctions can sell as many goods as they want for money equal to the number on all the goods that they sell. And then the last, when we get to phase H here on each of these, that's not an auction. Instead, whoever's in the clergy spot can place a temple on any of the corners between on any of these white spots all over the board. And then whoever's in the nobility can place each of these rounds has a building associated with it, and they are allowed to place that building in any of these open spots. And that's all you're going to do. You're going to do that for 5 straight rounds, and then at the end of the game, you're going to add up points. Each guy that you have out on the board over here is worth a point. If you are next, each guy that you have next to one of these temples gets a point. If you're next to a building, even better, you get the points that building is valuable. And since one of these points is 6, you're going to get a lot of points if you're next to that one. You also will get points if you have one of these here. This is the privilege, and you get this because at the end of each round, which I failed to say, you get a point for every guy you have up in the guild hall up here, and whoever has the most gets a privilege, which you can use to pass once in an auction, or you can keep it for the end of the game to get a point. And then you also get points for various cards that you did or did not do. 3 if you didn't do it, and then whatever points the card says if you did do it. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Strasbourg is a decent game. I mean, the theme drags it down a little bit for me, but I can look behind that for the game itself. But it really feels simply about points. Do you want to have the most? Do you want to have, I want buildings in the corners. I want to have buildings, people next to this building. Why? I don't know, I just do. Why are these buildings worth more than those buildings? I don't know, they just are. But that taking an effect, winning the different things, being able to place that building because you're nobility, being able to place the chapel pieces down, to place your pawns around them, getting goods and selling them for a profit. There's many different things you can try, and much of it's going to be determined by your initial cards that you draw, your initial goal cards. So in that aspect, I like the game. It's better than average for a Euro game. It does what it's supposed to do. You get in, get out. And the theme is, while annoying, I don't know that it would have done much difference of any other theme, because it just feels like a bunch of mechanics that do work like a well-oiled machine. What do you think?
It's a okay game. Maybe when I'm older, it will make more sense to me.
Probably not. No. I mean, I'm not making fun of you there. I'm saying that I don't think this theme will be much more interesting to you as you get older, unless you become a Renaissance scholar. Please, no. Please. Go ahead.
I don't really like it. It's because whenever I'm trying to put out buildings, they put out extra buildings for some reason. Like the pretzel building is only $1 or $0, and they're the best places ever.
Yeah, but the buildings are priced. The more expensive buildings are next to spots where the other buildings can be. So you could get a lot of points from building there. That's why they cost more.
Pretzel buildings were also near other buildings.
Right, the ones that cost 1 were. The ones that cost 0 were not.
But still, every time when I try to do something, I had a hard time completing it because it was just a really hard game to me and kind of boring too.
Yeah, let's see. The box says 12 and older, so I guess we cheated on that one anyway. But Melody did understand what was going on, and you got to be careful because there's auctions, and you can get cut out of an auction. But at least when you get cut out of an auction, you can take one of the cards that you had in that auction and put it under your deck. Like I said, the whole thing just flows very smoothly, and there were some aspects of it I liked. I liked drawing a certain amount of cards each turn, deciding how many to keep to auction off in a turn. I thought that was a neat mechanic. The little tracks of bidding and getting things, I thought that was a neat mechanic. And I thought lots of neat mechanics. And it fits together in a decent game. I just wonder if it will be forgettable in a few years. I don't know. So, thumbs down for Melody, or kind of thumbs down?
Yeah,
and kind of thumbs up for me. So what does that give you? You still might like it, though.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.